Well, good morning, folks, and welcome back to the farm. It's a bit of a chilly, foggy morning here this morning, but there's lots on the go. Today's a big day, March 3rd. Well, that's a special day to me. In fact, would have been my dad's birthday today. He was born March 3rd, 1949. Today's also World Book Day, so here's a thing for you, a little piece of homework for you. Let us know in the comments section, what is your favorite book? Mine today, I was just reviewing them, James Herriot's The Lord God Made Them All. I have a copy in the shop with all the leather-bound books and bottles of whiskey we have up there in the studio, so that's fantastic. So let me know what your favorite book is. The other big thing that's happening here today, and it is big. You see right there, there's not a barn yet. The materials for that barn are supposed to show up in about 15 minutes. We're going to put them there. So that's not the biggest check I've ever written, but pretty darn close. The material package for that barn is $32,000. So quite a big price tag, but honestly, it leads to a whole lot of additional capability and sustainability with the farm for not only us, but also for future generations here with our family. Really excited about it. Now, this was supposed to be done. The 22nd of February, I think, is where we were booked for. We're now the 3rd of March. The crew still isn't actually going to come until around the 14th or 15th of March. So while here, homesteading on the land, all that stuff, we're fairly insulated, but not immune from the supply chain and labor shortage issues. And that's what we found here is that, COVID and labor shortage and all the shipping problems, inflation. Oh man, we are most definitely not immune to it, but we are doing our very best to try and definitely insulate ourselves from the effects of it. So that barn is going to be part of that for sure. Now, when I talk about inflation, something I saw this morning was really shocking. The cost of a case of mason jars went from $10 to $19. So if you don't already have your jars, life's about to get difficult. I know for folks that are just getting into this, starting their own garden. You can't see our garden right now because it's underneath the blanket. Good morning, Elsie. Quite vocal this time of the morning. Probably gonna have to go over there and give her a scoop or two of hay. Yeah, I get it. I'll be there. Don't worry. Anyways, you can't see our garden right now because it's under about 6 to 8 inches of snow. We just had quite a bit of snowfall here over the last couple of days. But that's the plan, is to be able to grow 90% or greater of all our own groceries. So we already grow most of our own meat. We've got lamb, we've got pork. We don't have pigs this year because we have leftover from other years. We do meat chickens over the course of summer. And then of course we have the garden. So that is the feel-good thing. But the thing that comes with that is you can grow everything you want. You can raise everything you want. But can you keep it? Do you have a means to preserve that food for over the course of the winter for any extended period of time? And so canning is one of those skills, not only a skill, but you've also got to have the capability, right? The storage space, the material, the containers, the canning equipment, all of that. And that stuff is getting really hard to find. So check out the thrift store, check out garage sales. There's still people that are parting with this stuff on a regular basis that don't know what they have. And I mentioned earlier about, the supply chain issues and COVID, and there's a lot of folks here right now, especially in northern Alberta, where they think, because the government just lifted the muzzle mandate, the mask mandate, that things are going to go back to normal. Well, you heard it here first. If you haven't heard this before, you heard it here first. The COVID pandemic was merely the softening of the world. That's my opinion. I think it's not over yet. The whole stuff that's happening with Russia right now. Are we going to enter World War III? Are we not going to enter World War III? The stock market looks amazing. It's never been better. But it's backed by what? Hopes and dreams and unicorn farts? That's the reality, right? We think about the stock market crash that happened in, any other era. There was something that backed the currency of those nations that were impacted by the stock market crash. In this particular case, our governments, Western governments, have been just printing money. Just more money. We'll just keep throwing artificial money at a problem to the point where inflation has gone through the roof. Interest rates are now climbing. And if we have a market crash right now, there's no there's no government bailout there's no bailout programs coming, because it's going to be backed by nothing. We're talking wheelbarrows load of cash to try and get a loaf of bread. At the end of the day, it's just paper. It's worth nothing. So having the ability at least to secure your own food on a piece of land is a high value investment. So here's what I've done, and this is by no means financial advice. You do you and I'll do me, and you got to make the right decision for what's right for you in the moment, for your family and your own situation. But I pulled every dollar out of the stock market, because I think that thing is just going to tank. I really do. And the fact that our currency is backed by nothing other than a deficit is, I mean, who do we owe the money to, right? Everybody's in a deficit. But who are we in debt to? Well, we're not, because we're printing money, right? We're not in debt to anybody. We're just basically just creating artificial currency, which is then is going to lead to an economic toilet flush, is what's going to happen, right? Or that, maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be wrong. But we're taking the money out of the stock market, and I'm not holding it. I'm investing it in the farm, right? Things like the barn, things like the land that can't be printed, right? And getting it like that's mine. I own it outright, and then there's be no issue, right? As opposed to the whole conversation around the Great Reset and calling everybody's mortgages and basically crashing the whole economy. Can't have that happen. Cannot have that happen here. So we're going to invest everything we have in the farm. And if I'm wrong, well, you know what? I won't have all these investments, but I probably would have spent that money on bubblegum and bad habits anyways. And if I'm right, well, then I have an awful lot of security, and that's a good place to be. So now that all the parts and pieces are here, I'm going to need the instruction manual here to put it all together. I think I'm going to need a little bit more instruction than just that. No, this is probably just the invoice, and well, no, it might be. I bet you it is a set of drawings. Nevertheless, anyways, there's more than I'm going to be able to do there. My skills are pretty much limited to Lego, but I want to put this inside the shop out of the weather. I have a feeling that between now and the 15th, we're probably going to get some weather. Might make this all wet and hard to read. I'm going to play a little trick on these sheep here too and go pen them up over by the shelter. Reason being, Mama Bear going to lamb herself here right away. I want to get that tombstone feeder set up in the center of the pen and get a round bale in there. I also have to set up this bale, a hay net for the horses and the donkey. And then I'm going to turn the other sheep behind the shop loose into that second paddock so they have access to the tombstone feeder that's already set up. So it's now well on into the evening. I'm just kind of wrapping up chores here. Been doing obviously a lot extra here today, simply because obviously we're going to be away from the farm for a few days, and so we're going to have folks come in, help us out, do a couple little things, and we want that to go as easily as possible. So making sure the chickens have lots of extra feed, making sure there's hay bales everywhere they need to be, making sure all the water is working properly, all these little things that, you know, we take for granted because we do it day in, day out. And then it's kind of like a big panic when you got to leave the farm for a couple of days. Anyways, that's all done for the day. I think we're in good shape here for probably at least 10 days. That doesn't mean we don't have time for a special project. So what am I working on? Well, it just looks like a piece of 2x4, but believe it or not, this is actually a solid chunk of cedar, a cedar tablet. I made 2 of them. Here's one, here's the other one. What am I working on? Well, it's kind of a top secret. This is just a teaser. You will see in a couple weeks what these are for. But anyways, solid cedar. Let me know in the comment section down below what your guesses are. What am I working on? It's pretty exciting stuff. Anyways, all will be revealed in a couple of weeks. But for now, I think it's time. It's time for a cup of tea, maybe a bit of a biscuit. yeah, it's a good plan. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.